Over the past 8 months I've run this channel, I've only actually read about 20 games. Despite how much time I spend thinking about tabletop stuff, my pool of experience is relatively shallow. So when I stumbled across a thread about a zine-style book of minigames by Emily Shue, I didn't 100% know what they were talking about, but I was absolutely intrigued. Shue described their latest work as a moderately idiosyncratic zine-formatted series of minigames to help bridge the pipeline from "we should try out D&D" to "gay family of adventurers starts farm." It's a hell of a sales pitch. But the key of this thread, the part that spoke to me the most, was this. I want to give everyone the power to fuck with their games. I want everyone to write weird minigames. I want the weirdest shit imaginable. Houses of the Sun by Night is more than just a series of minigames. It's an invitation to try something, to expand your understanding of what a TTRPG can be. While its flavor text is astounding, and it provides an incredible variety of interstitial games to easily slot into an ongoing campaign, Houses is weird in the best way possible, in a way I'm desperately trying to achieve in my own writing. I'm so happy I found this text. Houses is framed as a journey through the 13 houses of hell, or the underworld, or the afterlife. You begin at 6 p.m., sunset, understanding that you've died. Like the sun, you must now race through the darkness to the other side of the world, to be reborn again with the dawn. Through each difficult hour, you follow the sticks, completing one house's challenge to pass through the gate to the next. While the imagery and art draw from ancient Egyptian depictions of the afterlife, Shue also explicitly states that the nouns and verbs of this game are interchangeable. Change Nephilim to Erebus, change 10 o'clock to the Fifth Temple, whatever best fits the intention of your own play. The text wants you to get your hands dirty, to tear up its meticulous sentences and scribble in your own words. I also have to note, Shue is, frankly, one of the best writers I've encountered in my admittedly limited experience of reading tabletop games. I'm not going to spend much more time on the setting description simply because I think most people will play Houses piecemeal instead of all the way through, though you could. But I want to make this clear. The writing's extremely good. Listen to this passage. You realize you are in the house of 10 o'clock. The problem is, no two souls agree on the path to the eastern gate. One must build a tower to catch the sun at night and hitchhike on its passage. Another must knit the gate entire from her own veins. Like, holy shit. Since Houses is a series of 13 minigames, it's hard to pin down a definitive example of play, since they all have different rules. I'll highlight a few standouts, but you can do a lot with 13 discrete sequences. There's not a defined intention for each game, instead, a suggestion. Play this game blank. When you don't know who you are. While you wait for the darkness to end. When you pretend to be beautiful. It leaves a lot of room for interpretation, but to me, it seems like you could build a character, hold a masquerade ball, create a strange contraption, have an emotional outburst, or wander the endless hallways of a maze, depending on what you find in each page. My 3 favorites were these. Play this game when the clock is ticking. Because my brain is broken, I imagine Chase as the Tron minigame in Kingdom Hearts 2, where you're assailed from all sides by little light cycle creatures trying to push you into glowing neon walls. All players are asked to pick a pool of 10 dice and describe how the race kicks off. When you describe what you do to get an edge on your opponents, you roll 3 dice and allocate them to pressure, reflex, and speed. Pressure is how you thwart your opponents, reflex is protecting yourself from their schemes, and speed is how you measure who crosses the finish line. Your table repeats this loop until all dice are distributed between 3 attributes. At the end, check to see if you used enough reflex dice to protect yourself from other players' pressure, and of those who survive, the person with the highest speed wins. It's simple and allows a lot of flexibility in the situations you might employ it. Chase works just as well in a hacker's duel as a race. You just need multiple people competing to reach an objective first. I also think it's better than a D&D skill challenge, which often just boils down to picking a proficiency and hoping for the best. Chase makes you more of an active participant, asking you choose whether to sprint to the objective or lunge at a foe to ensure they're permanently dealt with. Play this game when you are on trial. Damnation is for the dozens of times your characters find themselves on the wrong side of the legal system. You get 3 main players, the prosecution, defense, and the judge. You'll be doing all the same great ace attorney nonsense you'd expect in a courtroom drama. Present arguments, dissect your opponent's position, throw in an objection for good measure. Whenever you speak, you'll take a die from a pile of any type of dice and build a tower, literally constructing your argument in front of you. However, if you knock it over, or if the judge knocks it over when you irritate them, die that show a 3 or less are returned to the pile. After closing arguments, whoever's tower holds the most dice is the winner. Damnation is versatile and elegant. It involves more player engagement than just rolling die, but still allows for broad narrative application. The whole game could take 10 minutes, or you could stretch it out into an hours-long battle. It just depends on how much your players have to say. Also, it's just fun to stack up dice until something snaps, scattering a dozen colorful shapes across your carpet. Play this game when finding something takes a long time. On the itch.io page for houses, there's only one comment, left by someone with the username Sangjun. They write this: "Fishing is the only time I have found a game mechanic to be sublime, in the sense that it breaks through its context and expands more than it has any right to, in the sense that it's a tree that's been trying to touch the sky getting ejected into the far universe by an unexpected and frankly unjustified volcanic eruption." They're right. I started this channel as an attempt to both read more TTRPGs and understand what games can do, and very rarely have I come across a text that impacts my conception of games like fishing. Players should draw a clock face and mark the current positions of the planets in the sky. Each player will align themselves with the planet and remember its place on the clock. To play, you close your eyes and talk. It doesn't have to be about anything in particular. You can chat about your day, describe the scenery your characters find themselves in, whatever. The point is the passage of time, and the appreciation of the moments between a task and its resolution. After at least a minute has passed, you open your eyes and check a clock or timer. If the minute or second of the clock matches your planet's position on the clock face, you found what you're searching for. You've caught the fish. If not, it's someone else's turn to wait. Maybe it's silly that such a relatively plain mechanic has me so excited, but I think in terms of mechanics simulating the actual act they're based upon, it's kind of perfect. Of the handful of times I've been fishing in my life, the vast majority of it was spent just kind of chilling. I think this game nails that feeling of waiting around for something to happen, but implements a level of player-to-player interaction that makes it meaningful, that allows for characters to explore their own interiority in a way usually impossible in standard RPGs. When I do review standard RPGs, I try to highlight incentives, the tools game designers use to show players what their characters are working for, what rewards are given for doing a good job. House's incentives are purely narrative. Textually, you're moving from gate to gate in the underworld, rewarded with escape into rebirth in the east. But since this is a book of minigames, the actual reward, I feel, is a story you and your friends tell using the houses as scaffolds. In this case, the game is better because it's not the sum of its parts. I did have some difficulty with houses. The minigames are intentionally open-ended, which, for a former honors student who needs everything to fit in a neat little box, made some of the text challenging to read. That is, however, a me problem. Shu's text is vague in some places, but that's kind of the point. In their thread, they talk about the ways in which the rules of the minigames can be shifted to better accommodate your tastes. They're not meant to be hard and fast, but guidelines to complement your preferred playstyle. You can keep what works and throw out the rest. The important bit is that you're creating something. There's a lot of fighting on Twitter about why people won't just stop playing D&D and try another game. Houses is my favorite response to that conversation. Not a demand that people play something else, and not a concession that everything can be done within the workings of 5e. It's a gentle push with a powerful intention. Do something new, and make it weird. Houses of the Sun by Night is absolutely the weirdest game I've reviewed for the channel thus far. I love it. If you made it this far, I'm begging you to pick up a copy. For you people who love physical games, there's a zine formatted version so you can print it out and carry it around. It's absolutely worth the experience. Houses makes me so happy for the future of tabletop games. With the ever-expanding ability of people to create their own games, to push back against existing monoliths and sculpt them into something different, it's a reminder that we are only just beginning to see what indie creators are capable of. Imagination really is our only limit. So dream big, and make weird shit. Hey everybody, thank you so much for watching. I always appreciate everybody who makes it all the way to the end of one of my videos. If you like this review, please like, comment, and most importantly, tell other people about the channel. Word of mouth is the #1 way for me to grow, so if you could, let your friends know about my channel, I'd appreciate it. If you like what I'm doing, you can follow me on Twitter at AaronSXL, where I tweet about tabletop RPGs, writing, and health policy. And you can listen to the podcasts I do at MortifiedPod and at The Babble Boys if you like critical media analysis and conversations about weird Christianity adjacent stuff. Thank you as always for your time, and I hope to have a new review out soon. See ya!